What's good, everybody? RJ Sheldon here, episode 89 of Off the Top Show, bringing nothing but sports news. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Let's go ahead and talk about the NFL here. Obviously, we talk about the NFC North. A lot of things went down this week and this previous weekend. So let's get right into it. Green Bay Packers faced the Pittsburgh Steelers, lost that one 19-23, record being now for the Green Bay Packers 3 wins, 6 losses. Pittsburgh Steelers 6-3. They're playing very well. Obviously, more majority being in the second half of the season now, making that playoff push. So shout out to them. But getting to the Packers, man, this was a tough loss. Packers fans in general, us moving into this season, we knew that we might be in this situation. Granted, there's a lot of games that I think that we could have got, before we've gotten to this point to have us being 3-6. But at the same time, hopefully these growing pains of what we got going on with, Love's being his first year, I don't understand coaching and things like that plays a factor. In everyone's part plays a factor. But, I think for me, speaking on my behalf, I think I expected this for sure. A lot of growing pains, a lot of things to possibly see well out of Jordan Love and what we potentially are going to have throughout the years going down the line, because he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. But obviously that communication between Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and him calling the right plays for his guys, because we have guys around, obviously, Jordan Love that are playing very well right now. Jalen Reed obviously doing his thing, having a monster rookie season. And granted, I know our O-line is very shaky. Obviously watching just clips on Twitter from inside guys that, look at the Packers on a day-to-day basis. Very, very, very horrific performance from the offensive line this past weekend. So pieces just need to come together. We've been blessed for a lot of years, obviously, with who we had with Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. They all took growing pains as well getting into, being who they are to, today. So I'm not worried, but I kind of expected this, but this was a tough loss. And obviously we're going to figure out who they're going to play. I don't have it up here right now, but next week definitely need to go ahead and get on track on getting a win to possibly maybe even get into the playoffs. So it's going to be a long year, but hey, here for the long haul. Then obviously the next game here before Sunday, the Bears beat the Carolina Panthers, winning that 16-13. Baguette, 20 of 33 from the field, 162 yards. Freeman had 21 carries, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. DJ Moore had 5 receptions for 58 yards. If you watch this game clearly, this was a game to where they made the rushing, attack primary this game for the Chicago Bears. Freeman, obviously, 21 carries, 80 yards, basically telling me, and obviously when I was watching, main focal point is get him the ball to go ahead, set the tone, and they did. Granted, these are both 2 teams that are probably not going to make the playoffs. This was a good win, obviously, for the Bears. To see, obviously, what they got in Baguettes, but at the same time, what are they going to do? Is Justin Fields going to come back? I don't know what's going to happen there. But all in all, this is a good win for the Bears. And they're 3-7 right now. But being realistic here with them, same situation with the Packers. They might not make the playoffs this year. And if they do, who I'm going to take for sure. So, and then moving on, obviously, 2 games on Sunday here that we watched this past Sunday, Minnesota Vikings versus the New Orleans Saints. They won that one 27-19. Joshua Dobbs continuing to play at a high level, 23 of 34 from the field, 268 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Ty Chandler getting into the mix there, 15 carries, 45 yards, 1 touchdown, showing some explosive runs, and him being one of those guys that could possibly help out Madison. There's that 1-2 punch. Granted that rushing game isn't getting going, but doesn't matter at this point if everyone's tugging on that same side of the rope and doing what they need to do and getting W's. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And obviously TJ Hawkinson having a huge game 11 receptions for 134 yards and 1 touchdown. Defense playing well for obviously Minnesota Vikings. They're doing what needs to be done to go ahead and get themselves in that playoff push. Uh, Joshua Dobbs can't harp enough on what he's been doing for this ball club. And I think igniting just the guy, showing that whatever is willing to do to go ahead and win, he's going to do. And I think this was a great pickup right now from the Minnesota Vikings, um, to go ahead and give that sense of urgency to finish out the season. So that was a good win for the Minnesota Vikings, 6-4. And then the last game in the NFC North here, Detroit Lions faced the Chargers. Unreal game, action-packed game. Offenses were doing what they needed to do. Defenses tried to make plays as best they could, but it was an offensive gun show here. Uh, Quarterbacks doing what they needed to do to go ahead and put their skill players in the best position. And this was the prime example of this game, and it came down to the wire. Jared Goff, 23 of 33 from the field, 333 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery, 12 carries for 116 yards, 1 touchdown. And I know Gibbs got in the mix there as well, touching it. Then obviously St. Brown, 8 receptions for 156 yards, 1 touchdown. I said this in the beginning of the season that he's definitely be a guy to have 1,000 yards this year. He's definitely being that front runner to kind of break all types of records. If you want my honest opinion for that the Lions have at that wide receiver position, and there have been some great wide receivers that's been there. Obviously Calvin Johnson. I'm blanking on a couple other, but we all know who the man is there, especially at that wide receiver position for the Detroit Lions. But he's playing at a high level. This team, Detroit Lions, every week, every weekend that we watch these or see highlights, for me, coach well, both sides. Everyone's doing what they need to do to go ahead and make the right plays to win. They just have a winning culture there. They have players that believe in what the coaches are doing. And then on top of that, obviously the front office is all in hand of what needs to be done for them to go ahead and be in this position that they're in right now, be 7-2. Definitely going to go ahead and get into the playoffs. Might even host a playoff game. Changing the whole culture, obviously, of Detroit. Everyone's not even saying on the bandwagon, but you can tell that they got the city involved and they got everyone involved to go ahead and make this push. So, like I said earlier, it came down to the wire. They went on a field goal. A great team win. Obviously, the Detroit Lions. They're 7-2, leading the NFC North, and definitely going to be in that playoff run for sure. And let's move on, obviously, over here to the NBA. Had some games that I've been playing throughout, obviously, this week. On Monday, handful of games. And obviously yesterday on Tuesday, had that play-in tournament. Just going to go through the scores here. Hawks beat the Pistons 126-120. Miami Heat faced the Hornets. Miami Heat won that one 111-105. Pacers beat the 76ers 132-126. Spurs versus Thunder. That one was on TNT. Thunder beat them 123-87. Magic versus the Nets. Nets won that one 124-104. Pelicans faced the Mavericks. Pelicans won that one 131-110. I think Jokic went out, possibly with an injury. It could be wrong, but still doesn't matter. It's a great win for that Pelicans team. Kind of making that push towards, getting their seeding. So when it comes to playoff time, they're going to be in that talk to where they can go ahead and be maybe possibly a 5th or 6th seed. So who knows? Obviously, it's very early, but this is a good win for the Pelicans. Trailblazers faced the Jazz. Trailblazers lost that one 115-99. Timberwolves faced the Warriors. Timberwolves won that one 104-101. Karl-Anthony Towns had a big game. Just looking at the box score here, he had 33. Good win, obviously, for Timberwolves, another team that could be sneaky this year in this NBA playoffs. Anthony Edwards is playing at a high level. Seeing Cat doing what needs to be done, and that vocal point of them two guys, leading that team, which they need to do if they want to get really deep in these playoffs. But they're playing well, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from Anthony Edwards out of all the guys on that team. So they're going to be a scary team getting into this, I think, middle of the season, possibly in that playoff hunt. But like I said earlier, obviously talking about the Pelicans, it's very early, but you want to go ahead and solidify where you're going to be when it comes playoff time. Then the Clippers face the Nuggets. Clippers lost that one 111 to 108. Then obviously the last game, Grizzlies versus the Lakers. Lakers won that one 134 to 107. Obviously, this game and the Timberwolves game got a little chippy, um, which was funny. Obviously, with the Lakers, Anthony Davis obviously clearly looked like he got fouled or just some extra. Obviously, pushed the guy on the ground, but I kind of like that. Shows that competitiveness. I think it shows that these guys are trying to win it and they're competitive and they want to go ahead and show that. So I don't know. I like things like that. Basically gets me jacked up, obviously, when playoff time comes. But when two teams collide together that they had beef with last year, it's always good seeing that. And then obviously with the Timberwolves, Draymond Green putting uh, Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, like literally a chokehold. That was very hilarious. But that's nothing new from Draymond. If you know Draymond, he's a competitive person. He's from Detroit. He's from Michigan. So what do you expect? Um, but no, there's going to be a couple more games on, obviously, today. Bucks versus the Raptors. You got the T-Wolves versus the Suns. Kings versus Lakers. Knicks versus the Hawks. Celtics versus the 76ers. And then obviously Magic versus the Bulls. So be tuned into that. I don't know if that's going to be on. Some games probably be on ESPN. Two of them for sure will be. Then obviously probably other ones will be on your local stations. Or if you got NBA League Pass, you're good to go. So, and with that, man, we're coming to you short and sweet here uh, on this good Wednesday. Hopefully everything is good. I hope everything is where it needs to be up to this point, but continue to push that needle forward to go ahead and better yourself. We will see you on Friday. Peace out.